who's in your front row of life. In your front row of life, you know, that's sitting in the front row, those should be people, like you said, that are challenging you, that have high standards, that know you have more to give, that get you a little bit uncomfortable, that don't fall into your bullshit story that you tell them. Those are the people in your front row. You can still have your family and you can still have your friends, they're just in the next row, you know? And so Tony says too, love your family and friends, choose your peer group. So love your family and friends. You can have your family, you can have your friends. You just don't need to spend all your time there because you want to spend it with the peer group that's elevating you. And that's okay. And if your real friends are real friends, they'll respect that.
Hello, Better Together with Maria Menounos fans. Probably sick of hearing me say this, but yeah, it's me, Mr. Maria Menounos.
No, we're not sick of it.
No?
We love you.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they do. Subbing in for my beautiful and talented wife and bringing you part 2 of one of, I think, the more amazing interviews we've ever done with Nick Santonastasso. Someone who was born with one arm and no legs, and prognosis that wasn't going to keep him here very long, so allegedly, and then parents who were like, no, we're not having that, and his will and heart being like, no, we're not having that. And I think what to me started out as an interview where I assumed we would, hear his journey and then be inspired just by the journey. And by the way, I couldn't help but be inspired by the journey. And I don't know, Kelsey, you would disagree with that.
Oh my, his journey is like enough alone. And then he has all these other things and you're like, oh my God.
But then he starts dropping.
He's a wealth of,
Xavier Dagba
yes.
and, Tony Robbins type of knowledge,
lessons
gems, tools, practical tools you can put to use. I mean, this is quite the 25-year-old man, really special. And in this part, we talk about the pandemic and how to come out of the pandemic and be your best self with some real practical advice to apply. And this is someone who is still dealing with tragedy too. I mean, it's not like he's conquered everything. I mean, he lost a brother during the pandemic, and who was a young man.
The brother who he looked up to, who got him into wrestling, So, it's continuing for him. So lots just of gems, and I don't know. I'm hard pressed to think of a better guest, honestly, that we've ever had. So please tune in, have your notebooks open. And as we bring you part 2 of our interview with Nick Santonastasso. With this pandemic, I think that this is a challenging time. How has it affected you? And then what advice can you give us that are in the middle of all this?
Yeah, absolutely. So funny enough, we have this speaking company, right? And we were based out of Tampa, Florida, and I was traveling about 85% of the year. And so last year we're like, yo, let's move to Vegas. There's so many events. I'll never have to travel. It's going to be great.
Right.
Great domination plan. And I moved
Taxes,
there.
Everything. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah. So I moved there February 1st of last year. And I had one event, and then 30 days they shut down everything, took away my business, took away everything. No events, no nothing. And it's scary. There's uncertainty, right? But we move fast. You got to move fast. Success rewards speed. And so we were pivoting and figuring
Wait. Another Nick gem. Success rewards speed. Okay, come on now. You can't just drop that and run away. Because we here in Silicon Valley, it's all about the fast fail, right? So tell me about success and speed, please.
Yeah. Kind of like what you just said too, is like the faster you fail, the faster you attempted to throw it out there, you can learn from it and you can move and you keep moving forward. But a lot of the times we sit around and we wait for the world to come back to normal. When people are already pivoting and reinventing, you got to move fast, or you're going to get left in the dust. That's how fast the world is moving. But like you said, if you can fail faster, you can learn faster, and then you can get up. And a lot of people, we can even go into this. A lot of people say they're perfectionists, which is BS because you can't achieve perfection. It's the lowest standard that you can have, right? And
wait, Nick, stop. Okay, because everyone needs to hear this, because especially a lot of females, if they can't do it perfect, they won't do it at all. Say that again about perfectionism.
Yep.
What was that quote?
Perfection
Yes.
is the lowest standard in life you can have because you can never achieve it. And perfection, or being a perfectionist is the procrastinator's way to feel successful.
Wait, what? What do you mean? What? Okay, explain.
So we'll procrastinate because we'll say, oh, it's not the perfect time. Or I'm waiting, my product's not perfect yet. This webinar isn't perfect yet. My business plan isn't perfect yet. And so they procrastinate off perfect, which is BS. And it just makes them feel successful because they're waiting for the perfect time. It doesn't make sense. There's never a perfect time. And so, yeah, so perfectionist is the way that procrastinators feel successful. They wait for a perfect moment. There's never a perfect moment. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. You know what? You know, another thing, Nick, too, and I want to have empathy for the people that didn't take advantage of the pandemic to get into the hustle, right? Because I feel like when we live in half measures, when we do things halfway or half-ass, and however you want to put it, that's really the recipe to me for misery. And I feel like the people that did well in this time were the ones who either said, hey, I'm going to pivot and I'm going to move in a new direction. And so if I'm really geared toward being financially successful, building a business, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to stay with the times. I'm going to move. I'm going to fast fail. But I think the other people that were like, hey, you know what? This is just a time to pause and raise my awareness. And maybe this is a time for me to not do anything, just to be with my children, or maybe read, or maybe just work on myself, whatever. I think the people that were half and half are the ones that really, they would daydreaming about, like, I want to be successful, I want to have more. But then they're also Netflixing and chilling and medicating. And, you know, I feel like they're the ones that are going to come out of this the worst. So I just want to say that because I know a lot of people are tired of hearing about the hustle. And I've heard people say, hey, for me, you know, this was a time to pause and get to know myself and raise my awareness. And great, I'm off. I think there's something really to be said for that too. So I just want to say that, like, to throw it out there.
I agree. I see both.
Yeah.
Because I think there's never been a time in our lives where we had a good reason to stay home and slow down. I think it was a big test because I think you see a lot of people, their relationships either grew or they spread apart. Mm-hmm. But also, like you said, this was a time even for me where I look at my life and I say, where are the holes that I need to fill? I've been moving so fast in my business. What are the other areas of my life that I've neglected? And so if you wanted to slow down, slow down. If you wanted to speed up, speed up. But all I would say is that we can still, whether you slow down or whether you speed up, you can still better yourself.
Yes, no matter what. You're right. And by the way, better yourself might be just being still. That's okay too. Or maybe it's like, hey, I've been working for 20 some odd years. I need this time to just do nothing, and fine. Like, but I think it's like, if you're conscious about it, you know, not, and being honest. But so going back to the pandemic, and you're in Vegas and you're going to be doing live events there. Pandemic hits and you're in Vegas, and Vegas kind of, I don't know, I felt like it would seem like during the pandemic a lonely place to be. I feel like certain cities are cold. LA's like that too, but Vegas is even colder. So tell me what happens. You know, you're in the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, be transparent, it was scary because we were solely relying off speaking engagements and those fees and bringing revenue in that way. I mean, I had books and stuff, but I was let's say I was like 1D. I only had one part of me. And so it was a great gift for us. I mean, it was a great gift for anyone who finds the gift, but it was a great gift for us because we were able to slow down and work in the business and create products, services. So because you can only impact someone so much in an hour interview, an hour podcast, or an hour speech, but the real transformation happens when they can further the connection. And I didn't have anywhere to further these people and have them come down the journey with me. And so now I have like exclusive mastermind, I have a kid program, I have all this stuff, but that was all created because of COVID. And what was also created was, up until COVID, Nick was just a really good storyteller. I'm a professional storyteller. I get paid a lot of money to share stories. Now, I took the time in COVID to go way deep on sales, influence, communication, leadership. And now I'm way more tactical, that I can go in and have way more, different avenues to speak and serve and to train people. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so like, it was a massive gift for us. And the analogy that we can use is like seasons of business or seasons of life, and right now, whatever you may listen, we can agree. There's businesses in COVID that are thriving.
Absolutely.
There's also real estate thriving. There's also businesses that are not so good. We're all in different seasons of our life, and we're all in different seasons of our business. The only difference is there's two types of people in winter. One person in winter, they freak out, they don't build a fire, and they freeze to death. The other person gathers wood, builds a foundation, builds a fire, and enjoys winter and lets it pass. Which one will it be? And so we gathered firewood, we built the damn fire, and we built a better foundation, and now we're going to harvest the fruits of our labor in these upcoming seasons. But yeah, maybe for a lot of people, this was just a time to gather themselves, to find themselves and sit by a fire and let it pass.
Nick, what were some of the holes that you found in yourself, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. So business, like I said, I didn't have any products or services to offer people off the back end. That type of stuff. So no products or services, whole digital. I built a whole digital company. I had nothing digital. So no products, no advertisements, no nothing. I had none of that. Wasn't capturing any data going into the business side of things. And then I would say in personal side of things that I could talk to my family more. Like there's no excuse for me to not talk to my family. And that was a hole for me of like, dude, why aren't you just not picking up the phone and calling your parents? And so I think this was a time for me to nurture my family a little bit more. And then, like I said, during that time, my brother had passed away. And so just being there for them in that moment, I think was valuable for me, because I was always on the road. There's no excuse, but I guess just for me, it was nurturing my relationships a little bit more. And then even with my girlfriend, we went from, we've been together over 2 years now, but we went from long distance to in the house together in COVID, and it just brought us closer together. So that was another area of my life that I nurtured and became stronger.
Can we talk a little bit about your brother?
Yeah.
Because this is someone you look up to. I didn't even know this, Nick. And I think it's also aspirational to hear, because even though you have so much, you're so enlightened, you're still going to have these very real tragedies occur in your life. So, which I would never guess. I would never guess that two parents who would be so evolved with you, I would never guess that you would have that in a family, that kind of tragedy, but yet we all do. So can you talk, and this is someone you looked up to too, and I can't even imagine your poor parents. And how old was he first, may I ask?
Yeah, he's coming up like 30.
Oh, he's a baby. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
What happened with him?
Yeah, so the thing is my brother, so he was a Marine, came out of the Marines, and this is why your focus is extremely important. And the reason why I say that is because you can like all of us have amazing skill sets, and we're really good at some things. But if you focus it on the wrong things, or if you focus it on the wrong outlets with the wrong people, then you'll get wrong results. And so I think that just my brother he was a hard worker. He did labor jobs. He just loved just working. And he was a bull, and he would just put his head down, he would work, and he never wanted to work for someone else. And so since he didn't want to work for someone else, he would make money, but not doing good things. Does that make sense without going into it?
Yes, it does.
Right? And
absolutely.
So has great skills, has an entrepreneur mindset, just doesn't know and doesn't have the right guidance or maybe the right conditioning, and then falls into the wrong group.
Yeah.
And like, that's it. right? And so that's why your focus is so important, but also your community and who you're hanging around with. And so I think it was just a battle of being in the wrong group and thinking they were good, but they weren't good.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, something like heroin, I mean, man, once you start, it's like, I don't know, but once you start, like it's always there. That itch is always there. And so for him, you know, he was in and out of rehab. He was sober, then he wasn't sober. I mean, this, and just to be transparent, this was probably like a few times that he overdosed and came back. Damn. And so this time it just wasn't no coming back. But what I'm trying to say is that the people that you surround yourself with are either going to make you or break you. And I want to let everyone know, from a brother to a brother and a brother to a sister, one, your past doesn't define you, but the very actions you take in this moment do. But also that you all have amazing skills inside of you, or you all have amazing gifts. They just haven't been awoken yet, or you haven't worked on them, or you haven't discovered them yet. But when you can really harness your focus and be very conscious of who you're spending your time with, it'll make the difference. And so just a story of someone who was really amazing, had really great skills, but just got caught up in the wrong group. That's it.
Have you, Nick, I see this so much. Now, this was the worst extreme, your brother, but I see so much of people who they surround themselves with and the slow burn it has. And this, your brother experienced the most extreme version of it, but I feel like it's so preventative to people's happiness and their joy, their fulfillment, by who they surround themselves with. So have you ever been surrounded by, were you always one who was attracted to the light and positive people who had your best interests, or did you ever have darkness around you like that too, that you had to check?
You know, yeah, definitely. I mean, and in a sense, it's not even, you don't even know that you're hanging around the wrong people until you're exposed to someone that has higher standards.
So maybe that's the key.
Does that make sense? Or just knowing that there's better out there.
Right. But I think the first part is what's scary is you don't know, because you're almost like you're just a zombie, and I've been there, right? And I've been one of the zombies probably that was bad for other people. So believe me, but I think when I always break it down to regular guy terms. I always say to people, like, you got your real friends and you got your rock star friends. Your rock star friends, yeah, they're fun to be around. They finish your sentences. There's a comfort level. Maybe you grew up with them. Yeah, okay, whatever. But your real friends will be there for you when you're down. Your real friends are there trying to help make you better as you're trying to help make them better. But the real friends may not be as fun to be around at first. You know, get out of your comfort zone and be around those and then all of a sudden, after a few years, you go, you know what? Maybe I'm not getting the same highs with these, quote, real friends versus my, quote, rock star friends. But guess what? Oh my goodness, my life is so much better. I'm more successful. So anyway, I break it down in that way. But I like the idea of consciously seeking people that have maybe higher standards or, are successful. I like that.
Yeah, because I'd say even in my journey, it's like, like I still have a few best friends from high school. They're still my buds. He just came and surprised me for my birthday. But as a high schooler kid, like, graduating, like we just hang around, maybe smoking pot, just chilling, just like, and they're your best friends. But then you may realize that there's no growth.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, which is really difficult, is you start growing and then they feel uncomfortable because they feel inferior, or they feel like they're losing you. And so what the analogy that we use is like, who's in your front row of life? In your front row of life, that's sitting in the front row, those should be people, like you said, that are challenging you, that have high standards, that know you have more to give, that get you a little bit uncomfortable, that don't fall into your bullshit story that you tell them. Those are the people in your front row. You can still have your family and you can still have your friends. They're just in the next row. Yep. And so Tony says too, love your family and friends, choose your peer group. So love your family and friends. You can have your family, you can have your friends. You just don't need to spend all your time there because you want to spend it with the peer group that's elevating you. And that's okay. And if your real friends are real friends, they'll respect that. and they'll know that you need time to be with the people that are elevating you and whatever it may be.
Right.
But that necessarily doesn't need to cut them off, because my friends are good people. We're just in different industries and different businesses and different mindsets, right? And so I can come back down to them. But like you said, the real issue is when you're surrounded in a toxic group, and this group is picking on you, or they're bringing you down, or they're casting their bullshit limiting beliefs on you. Like that's a toxic group you need to cut.
Yeah. And by the way, it's overt when they're picking on you and doing that stuff. That almost makes it easy. I think it's more about the subtle limitations, and then just the negativity and the victimhood and just all of that kind of darkness that they have in their world beyond. And by the way, then comes jealousy and all those other things that they may not even show you. But I think you're right. The friends in the second row who are your true friends, like I'm imagining your high school friends, like they may not be as evolved as you, they may not be successful, but I bet you they are damn freaking proud of their boy Nick and how he's kicking ass out there. And you know, I almost remember Good Will Hunting. I always thought the movie Good Will Hunting. Did you ever see it? It was great. The friendship between Matt Damon, who's this genius, and his, like, you know, his shitbag friend from the neighborhood who loved him genuinely, and, you know, was definitely lowering him in some ways, but he was high enough of a friend to go, you gotta go and go be, don't give me this crap, we're gonna grow up and be at the bar together, watch our kids play Little League. No, you're meant to go be great in the world, and we're brothers for life, but you gotta go. And that, to me, always thought that was cool, and I'm blessed to have those friends from the carny business or the neighborhood who are like, don't stop. We want, keep going, keep doing it.
Yeah.
But if I hung with them every day, it wouldn't be a good thing. I just think a lot of people get caught in that rut where they want to be loyal. They think they're being loyal to family and friends from the past. And I think they're doing themselves a terrible disservice, and they're very surprised, and it's no surprise why they're limited in terms of.
Yeah, I think because it's easy to be average.
It's so easy to be average. But
you know, comfortable.
Yeah, it is. And except though with the fact that social media showing us so many examples, and by the way, fake examples of people killing it, slaying the game. I think that the average people, it's not as easy for them anymore because they're now bitter, but they don't do the work to get out of average. They just medicate heavier. They go deep. They dig deeper in. Yeah. But there are more evolved people and like-minded people out there. And I think you got to get out of your comfort zone and really seek them out. And maybe when you come out of this pandemic, you say to yourself, hey, you know what? Like, why not? Like, and my recommendation to people is like, when you start finding these people, you're going to kiss a lot of frogs till you get your princes and princesses, but you got to keep trying, and it may not be fun at first because they're not going to be like, hey, let's go to the woods and smoke pot and listen to whatever, like music from the 2000s like we used to. It might be more, sophisticated and not as like comfortable or fun, but it will get you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it really, Nick. It hurts people more than they realize. When I talk to people about Hollywood and when they in our business, sometimes it's big A-list celebrities and sometimes it's people just breaking in. I'll always ask, like, tell me about your, because I want to know the foundation, what cards I have in the deck to work with, and I'll say, what's your support group like, your peer group, where are your parents at with this? And parents too. A lot of them aren't like your parents. Most parents have the instinct I would have had with you as a kid, which is keep my kid out of pain. It's just a parental instinct, but that's not necessarily the best thing for you. As you knew your parents, I mean, my goodness. This weird question with mom and dad, what was their occupations? I want to know how they're so evolved.
Yeah, it's funny because my parents always say you were the last kid, so we had some test trials. So we knew we had a little test trial. So I was the last kid, so they were a little bit I guess less coddling and stuff. I mean, I have no legs of an arm, but they were a little less coddling. But my dad was just, we're just a big Italian family, so he's just like a hard ass, I guess. And so like my mom's thing was like, Nick, as long as you're happy, I'm happy. And my dad's like, well, you got to feed yourself and make your own money. And I'm glad that I had that.
Yeah,
that.
But Nick, one thing about Italian culture is too, and especially an Italian father, they're super overprotective. I mean, I had a dad who was like, I would see the whites of his eyes if anyone ever like lifted a hand at us, or he was like, and I saw that with a lot of the neighborhood dads. So I give your father so much credit for going, no, we have to make him tough. Did he have military in the background?
No, but I think what drove him was, and this is interesting because I don't really know like it was long ago, but in 1996, I guess you can say that people like me, different people, were kind of hidden, or they were kind of put away or not in the spotlight, and if that makes sense.
It does.
And so my dad was like, oh hell no. He's gonna be like, that's Italian, like, oh hell no, I'm going against the grain, like it's gonna be total opposite. Everybody's gonna know who my son is. Like he's gonna prove all these doctors wrong. And so I think he also had like a little chip on his shoulder as well, because they put so many limitations on his boy, and he's like, oh no, it's gonna be the total opposite. And he told me, he was like, Nick, if I put stepping stools everywhere and little loops on the doors, like that's not real life. It's not real. And so he's like, why would I set my son up for failure when he becomes an adult and goes into the real world if he's given everything and everything's easy? Like he's like, it's bullshit. It's not real.
So what was his job, Nick?
So my dad. So when I was born, my dad owned like a recycling, like a garbage company.
Okay.
And then now he does like it's a company called Ferguson, and they do like plumbing all over the world, but he just like tracks and analyzes like trucks all over the world. I don't know.
He works. I know Ferguson. No, I know them. So he works for them.
Yeah. So he does all like the routing and all the routes for like Jersey, Philadelphia, all that stuff.
Yeah, they're everywhere. And what about mom?
Mom is like in senior services, like I think healthcare and insurance and that stuff.
Yeah. Well, kids, I just love and admire deeply people like them, and obviously you, who just figured it out. You know what I mean? And that to me, it's so inspiring, because you know, a lot of us get discouraged. We don't have the money, we don't have the education, we don't have the resources. And then when I just meet people who just freaking figured it out, you know, to me, there's so much you can offer us. And I think I have a lot of ideas for you, Nick, as you move forward. But I tell you, like, there's just as much gold in mom and dad.
Oh, yeah.
Especially what I think I feel bad for a lot of the millennials because of the way the parents raised them. They didn't raise them like your parents. You know, Kelsey was raised pretty tough, and, you know, our producer here. And, you know, it's why she's as successful and hardworking as she is. But a lot of the kids, unfortunately, didn't. It was, how do we remove all the pain, and how do we give them all the pleasures maybe we didn't have? Yep. And, you know, now, unfortunately, we have a group that is suicidal, deeply depressed, high anxieties. You know, now, can you imagine, Kelsey, as I bring you in on this conversation, so it doesn't just look like the boomer here being a lecturer, but like, do you see what Nick went through? And now do you see that when we look at it, and I know we can't make comparisons, and I understand that everyone's pain is genuine to them, and I get that, and I honor it, I really do. But at some point, we have to say, when I think of like kids who've had, you know, so much more, you know, and yet just don't haven't figured it out, you know, so, or don't have the resilience. That's the thing. So I think anyway, with his parents, I think they get a lot of credit.
Oh, massive. And Nick, I'm so curious, because I'm sure that you had to get over, like, I'm sure there was times in your life where you were like, oh, come on, you guys, like, throw me a bone, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm
glad you said that, Kelsey. It's good to have, she's your age, so it's nice to have that perspective. I wouldn't think like that, but yeah.
But it makes me think, because I'm like,
all right, enough.
And I want to know how you got over that too, like the charges you had against them that you're now like grateful for.
Yeah. So I don't know where it comes from or where it came from, but I'm the type of guy or kid that like if I can't do something, it would piss me off, and I'll sit there and I'll try it over and over and over again until I can do it. I don't know where that comes from, but I'm just very competitive within myself, and so my parents would know when something's getting to me because I'd be so pissed off, and they would be like, all right, like take a step back, just chill, like go try it this way or go try it that way. So I changed my approach, but I was very persistent, and I don't know where I got that from. And like we were mentioning as well, is like you said, there's gold in my parents as well. Like my dad never finished high school.
Of course he didn't.
never finished high school. And we're talking about, resources. We say it's not a lack of resources. It's a lack of being resourceful. And so we take, for example, and by the way, for the parents out there, like bless them. It bottles down to like sometimes your parents' best intent isn't your best intent.
Yeah, right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like what they want best for you isn't like the best move, but they want to protect. Like they're not trying to put limiting beliefs on you. They're not trying to hold you back. They're like going back to what I said. They're doing what they know, or they're doing things because they don't want you to have a life like they did.
Right.
But then when you look at it like this, you take a kid that was born into entrepreneurship, that was has all the networks, resources, opportunities, mindset, all that stuff. That's great. He may have a smooth path, or he may sabotage it. But then you take a kid over here who doesn't have the networks, resources, opportunities. This person over here is actually going to have to obtain skills. They're going to have to, learn more knowledge, and have to craft themselves into something. And so they're actually becoming a better character. They're actually becoming more of a character because they didn't have it. And so for those that are listening right now, like your not disability, but your advantage or your adversity is actually your greatest gift. Because without your adversity, it wouldn't sculpt you or push you into becoming something else. Yep. But the dichotomy or the balance is like most people fall victim of their adversity rather than harnessing it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So like, for example, like, and I'm just speaking openly, straight shooter. Like you may think your adversity is your skin color. You may think your adversity is your height. You may think it's your weight. You may think that your whole family is obese. I don't know what it is. But because of your childhood and the way that you grew up and the way that your parents raised you have crafted you into the man or woman you are today. It built you.
Yep.
And so I'd rather have a tough upbringing and a tough life, or at least work for things so I build character along the way, rather than having everything fed to me and then I'm in this expectation conditioning of I expect results, which by the way, humans, we just expect everything. We expect results, we expect success and expect happiness. And if you start a business and you're not successful in 2 years, you quit. Because we expect. But that's a whole nother tangent. I just got fired up a little bit.
No, we heard that. Is it Devin Franklin? He's great.
Devon,
Devon Franklin. Yeah. His big thing is expectations. He's like, just get rid of them. Stop it. Yeah. He's like, it's crippling your personal life, your professional life, and really just be more about embracing the journey rather than the results.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think. What do we say to somebody who? Because I've said this to people. Hey, you wouldn't be you if you didn't go through this, and they'll say, yeah, but I don't like me. I hate who I am. I hate my life. And it's because of all these things that were done to me in my past by my parents, my family, whoever. What do we say to them?
Yeah, what'd you learn from it? Now, see, what I mentioned earlier in this interview is our job as humans on this human experience is to get the learnings. To get the learnings. I don't care, like, and listen, like, I haven't been through what people have been through, and I've been through things that people haven't been through. But if you can constantly ask yourself, what did I learn? What did I take away? I mean, let's be real. If you've been through emotional abuse, sexual abuse, maybe you have more compassion. Maybe you have more empathy. Maybe you analyze people better because something happened to you. You gain something.
That's right.
And if you say you haven't, it's bullshit. You gain something. I don't know what it is, but you gain something. But they're focusing on the event and what happened to them rather than what did they gain. You had to gain something. I don't know what it is for you in your life, but get the learnings. And if you can continually reflect and get the learnings, oh, I learned this. I became like this. I'm this way because of that. There is some good in there, but they tend to focus on all the bad that came from that. All the bad that stemmed from them, all the bad that is now with them. But I promise you there's learnings. And if you get enough learnings and enough teachings, you may liberate yourself from that experience if you choose to. Now, the victim mentality is very popular mentality we got going on nowadays. The victim mentality. Because when you're a victim, you get attention.
I like attention.
You get love. You get praise. You get eyeballs when you're the victim. It's easy. Are you kidding me? Like, if I would sit on my couch and medicate and do drugs, they would be like, of course. Right. Of course, Nick.
Yeah.
It's easy to fall victim. You know what's cooler is finding the learnings despite what happens to you. That's what's cool. That's what's life-changing. That's what's going to allow you to win rather than falling victim of your circumstances. I get it. I shouldn't be born like this. It's screwed up. It sucks. Oh, well, move on. Find the learnings. But I understand that, like you said, all your pain is genuine to you, but you must find the learnings and you must extract them, or you'll always be in that victim state and you'll always blame that event for the reason why you're right here. Always.
And you know what? Let me add to it. The victim thing, you're right. It will get you all the attention and the love and all that stuff you need, which will send you deeper into victimhood. But in the long run, you will lose. You will lose. You will not be happy. This is where depression and suicide, deeper medicating, yeah, it's a recipe for disaster. Yeah, I feel like it's especially post-pandemic, it could reach epidemic proportions, the victim mindset.
Yeah, and just to add, is your brain is also always trying to prove itself right based on your beliefs. So, for example, I mean, we all know someone in our life that always has a shitty manager. It's because every job they go to, they find the shit about the manager and make it a shitty manager.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's always trying to prove itself right. It's the same thing. It's like if you have a belief like, oh, I suck at business, none of my ideas never work. Like, you will literally play half-assed or 50% just to prove to yourself that it won't work. So try to prove it wrong.
Oh my God.
The brain is way powerful. That's the thing. It's just exposing people to how powerful the brain is. And whatever you think, you'll get more of. I mean, right now, don't think of a blue tree. You just thought of a blue tree, didn't you?
Yes.
I told you don't. Why'd you do it? See, that's how the brain works.
Oh my God. I am processing. Well, Nick, I've just had so many people work for me over the years, and so many of them have brilliant and so talented, but yet they've had these limiting beliefs. And because they are so intelligent, they have formed these beliefs to limit them. That's why I mouthed something to Kelsey as we were. I'm like, oh my goodness! Like, I'm thinking of a few people we know. Heavy, yeah. So Nick, as we wrap this up, I love your recipe for your day, but can we give a generic recipe? And I think if you do feel like you have been victimized in your past, today is a new day, tomorrow is a new day, this can all be collected as data to move forward. Do you have some, I don't know, like a Cliff Notes kind of program that someone can start hooking into to, come out of this, to enter into this new world as a better version of themselves?
Yeah, we're blessed to be able to pick up our phone and listen to any content that we want. And so I would say the general basis is stop consuming shitty content. That's it. That's first thing. I mean, how many times have you woken up and saw a text message, a phone call, a news article that pissed you off and set you off for the day? You did it to yourself. You looked at it. And so stand guard to the door of your brain and don't let the weeds grow. I think it was Jim Rohn that said that back in the day, or Zig Zig, one of the OGs. But stand guard of the door of your brain. And so what that means is start consuming better content. You get better results in your life. Start consuming content that's going to elevate you, and it will elevate your life. Now we're talking about, and let's just be honest. We'll end off with this. Like we'll talk about another pandemic. We talk about fear. It's all around you. And when you're in a fearful state, when you're in a fearful state, your immune system drastically drops. But when you're in a fearful state, you won't take action. So the news, fear, media, fear, Instagram, fear. Stay away from the fear and you elevate your life, because when you don't feel good, you won't take good action. And so I would say to simplify it and to settle it here is, most people, which you aren't listening because you're perfect. I know you're listening here perfect, but most people out there, they wake up, they have the same thoughts, they take the same action, they consume the same knowledge, the same food, and expect a different life. That's the definition of insanity. And so if you want to start somewhere, have new thoughts, take new action, consume new content, consume new food, and get new results in your life. Let's keep it there.
I mean, you just start there. Yeah, but it's seriously like, okay, and then we can get into, the intentions and the, like some of the other specific things. But you're right. I think if you just started there and really look at what you listen to, even stuff that you think entertains you. Like I know, Nick, there's to be transparent now with you. There's people that I've listened to in the past that just were really funny, but you know what? They're hateful. They're bitter. They are, who knows? Probably even racist. But, it'd be like the guy, at the bar, like when your lower consciousness is like spouting off all these jokes and so even though some of them could still make me laugh, I'm like, this is not healthy to be consuming the content from these people anymore. And so just even that shift. So, and for women, it might not be guys, but it might be those other women who I sometimes hear them. They're the type that will, throw a glass of wine in your face and think, that's being bold or that's being courageous, but they lower the bar and they're fun to listen to and they're easy and the kind of the way they do things seems easy, because I think when you are of lower consciousness, life is easier day to day, but in the long run, that's when you pay. But yeah, I think that getting rid of all that stuff and consuming content that's going to really enrich you, it's a great start. And again, thank you for that too. So
yeah, cheers to setting new standards after this interview.
Seriously. Nick, before you go, tell me about I want to know where we find you, your business, how people can get more of you, because I'm sure after this, anyone who wants to get better is going to want to listen to you more. So tell us.
Yeah. So you can find me Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn at Nick Santonastasso. But I understand that's a long last name. So if you type in Nick Santo, I'm the guy with no legs, one arm with a bunch of tattoos. I think I'm the only one out there, so it's easy to find me. And then, based off my Instagram and anything, I have free trainings, anything that they want to go through, confidence, fear, all that stuff. All you have to do is just follow me, and you'll find the way.
Yeah, and then for your business, are there classes and courses and things like that we can get?
Yeah, so we can do. I don't know if you want to do show notes, whatever you want to do. We could post a link, but basically the only spot that I do like coaching is in my inner circle. It's called my Victorious Inner Circle, and it's like my weekly mastermind group where every single Monday I teach. And then throughout the whole week, I bring in experts to teach them on wealth, health, and relationships. And so that's like kind of my little baby.
Nice.
And then those people will have access to our Victorious events in person whenever we throw our first one. So it's going to be good. But yeah.
Yeah, I can put that in the
Please.
description.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we can sign up and become members of this group and
Yeah. So what we can do as well is we can just put the link, and then we'll see if they're a good fit and I'm a good fit, and then they can possibly jump on a call with me or one of my people, and we can see if that's something they want to do.
Nick Santonastasso, God bless you, and I'm so grateful that you came on and shared all of this with us. I'm sure we're going to stay in touch. You just, I'm not letting you go. And I have a lot, by the way, so I have a lot of stuff I want to talk to you about too, because we have to amplify your message. And Nick, where does faith, and we're not a faith-based show. I don't know why I'm just drawn to ask this, but where does your faith in God, or does it figure into any of this?
Yeah, I'd say God. I'm a higher power, just universe. God, the universe, whatever you believe in. There's. Have you ever had, for those that are listening right now, maybe you don't have faith, and that's okay. We're not pushing any beliefs, but have you ever had a moment where you're at the right place at the right time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or a moment that just kind of felt guided, like, wow, this opportunity fell into my lap, or this relationship, or this thing just happened at the right place at the right time. Something else put you there. And so I'm a big believer in that's the higher universe. And it's when you kind of lean into faith a little bit more, whatever that is for you, it kind of takes the pressure off, because it means that it's not all you doing the work. And that, you still need to do the work, but there's some sort of thing out there that's going to help you elevate or put you in the right place at the right time. And anything to take off a little bit of work or stress from us, I'll take it. So lean into faith a little bit more, whatever that is, God, the universe, whatever you believe in. I don't care what it is. But there are, man, your heart is a great testament of faith or God, whatever you believe in, because it was just given to you as a gift. You didn't have to work for it. You just woke up with it, and now you have life. Now you're here. Welcome to the world. And
do you pray, Nick?
I'd say pray, meditate. I would, visualizing what I want is a form of praying and a meditation for me. Because what's interesting about visualizing is, you'll notice why some of the greatest athletes, actors, whatever it is, they visualize, is because it's called neuron mirroring. And what that means is your brain can't decipher what's real and what's visualized.
Wow.
So you can actually experience the results and the emotions of achieving a goal before you even have it.
Okay, I'm sorry, I have to keep you on for this. Can you give me an example of neuron mirroring?
Yeah. So for example, my biggest speech was 15,000 people with Tony Robbin in Miami Heat Arena. Weeks prior, I visualized myself hopping out onto that stage, going left, shaking the building in the middle to the right. I visualized it so many times that when I walk out on the stage, I'm not nervous because I've been there before.
Got it.
I've already been here.
Yep.
And so, but also, if you lack certainty or belief, you can actually visualize the result and get really good at visualizing, and you can actually get more certainty and belief before you even get the result, which may help you on your journey. But that's why the greatest actors, the greatest athletes, they visualize the results before they have them.
And this isn't that 15 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, you're doing this?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. But man, we have so many distractions all around us that we're not tapping into nowhere near our full capability of what our mind does, because we're so dumbed down by laptops and phones and all that stuff. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But there are literally people out there that dedicate their whole life to meditation and visualization that can literally go somewhere else and they're still in their body. It's a muscle, and the brain is a wild tool. And so, visualize it, meditate. But like I said, that's a muscle. So if you don't really, I don't see anything, I don't feel anything, that's okay. That's a good sign that you're on your way, and just exercise a little bit more. And that's the same thing with gratitude. Going through a gratitude exercise or a ritual. Like I've taken people all over the world through gratitude exercises, and some people cry, some people laugh, some people smile, and some people don't feel anything. And for the people that don't feel anything, that's a great sign, because that means you just need to crack open your heart a little bit more and focus on what you're grateful for and appreciative of. It's a muscle.
It's a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Wow.
Nick, you're incredible, and we're so grateful for you. And just wish you so many more good things. I know they're coming your way, and like I said, we'll be right with you, I promise. Thank you again.
Thank you, brother. Glad to be better together today.
Okay, so I'm definitely, I knew he was going to humble me, but then he went beyond that.
Yeah, he's unreal. What were some of your favorites, Kev? Your favorite lines? I have so many.
Tell me yours, but for me, it's about more practical things I'm going to put into action starting now.
I loved, this is from part 1, but you never make more than you think you're worth. Come on now.
Yeah.
That's so good for especially all of us ladies who have self-worth and confidence issues, it's like, don't be obnoxious, but like you have to know your worth. You have to know your worth.
Is Pooj Magic on the phone?
Pooj Magic, you on the phone?
Pooj Mania.
Hi, Queen. Hey, Queen.
Hey,
What do you think
Queen.
of that line?
I agree with you, Kels. Like, I think as females especially, like, we're already taught to doubt ourselves, like,
Yeah.
from society. So even when it comes to jobs, like, I feel like even just asking for a raise when you know you deserve it is so much harder
So
when
hard.
you're a woman
Yeah.
versus a man. So I appreciated that little tidbit. I also liked when he said not to give other people too much power.
Yes.
Like J. Ray also said that. And I was like, yes, like, why do we care so much about what random people online think?
Oh my
Like,
God, I know.
why do we put our self-worth in the hands of other people? And that's been a consistent lesson that a lot of our guests have said, and I think we all have to listen to it.
I agree. Agreed. Something else a few other of our guests have said, or they've talked about the visualization process, that neuron mirroring. I'm like, I need to do that more, because it's like your brain, the fact that your brain doesn't know the difference between like I can't say visualization. There you go. And the real life. I think that's like absolutely astounding and so cool. And we've had other guests talk about that, but I think that's such a tool. But also him following up with like, it's a muscle, you have to work it, right? So you can't just assume that like one time you're gonna like visualize something and it's gonna come true. It's like, no, you have to work that muscle. Kevin looks like, are you in pain trying to find your... Oh, okay.
No. No, stand guard at the door of your brain.
Yes.
So what's going to come in and out? Now, he got that from Jim Rome, who was the person that Tony Robbin studied under.
Oh.
Little thing.
Thank you for that.
You know, and then when you have tragedies occur and you've had shortcomings in your life, it's just keep going back to like, what did you learn from it? What did you learn from it? Don't sit in the whole
we keep hearing,
like about how much it's victimized you.
Yep.
You know, it's not lack of resources, it's a lack of not being resourceful.
Love your family and your friends. Choose your peer group.
Choose your peer group. That was again from Tony.
That's from Tony. That's a big thing, Kev. I've been learning. And we've talked to you guys about this like on the Patreon a lot, but I mean, it kind of hit me the other week, and I was like, Kevin.
I just had to, well, I don't know. Your family's amazing, but some of your friends, I was just like, Pooja, I'm like,
Yeah.
and they're the nicest kind of monsters,
Okay.
but they're basically monsters.
They're
But
like
the nicest
sneaky.
kind. No, the nicest kind.
It
I
all
like not like no fangs
No,
and
no, no,
claws,
no.
but in terms of just totally disconnected. Like,
It all
for
started
who
with
Kelsey
yeah,
is this
yeah.
bright like light and
Yeah.
ray of like sunshine and love and
Yeah,
hope and
yes.
support. And like when I think of these gargoyles, like hi Kelsey, like monsters,
monsters. But anyways,
little monsters.
That was a good one. Your past doesn't define you. The actions you take in this moment do. God, so many gems.
in the
I
moment.
love that one because I feel like people harp on like things they've done in the past and like
That's
it
it.
eats at them. Like they're just constantly thinking about it. But I liked how he said like you can grow from that. Like they're all lessons.
Yeah,
Like,
what do you
don't
learn?
discredit that stuff.
Yeah, what do you learn from it? Just keep going back to, okay, what did I learn?
Yep.
Well, you know, can I say this too? You know what makes it hard for us to get past our past is all the power we give other people who judge us for the past.
Yes.
So that's really, I think, what makes it hard.
Yeah. But that's giving away your power again. Why do we
Yeah,
care what they
connect.
think?
Perfection is the lowest life standard.
Well, and that
Procrastination.
procrastinators love perfectionism.
They love it.
That's
It's
which
that-
reminded
yeah.
me of Losers Love Limbo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Procrastinators' way to be successful is to be a perfectionist.
Like, oh, that hit me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Two kinds of people in winter. One that builds the fire and builds the foundation, and the
That's
others
a-
who just freeze.
That's a Tony thing. It's but I love that. It's like different seasons of your life, right? So what season are you in? Crazy.
Oh, my goodness. And this is a regular guy Friday one.
Yes.
Let's hear
I'm
it.
ready.
Being a victim gives you attention. It gives you
Oh, yeah.
love.
Right. So it's easier to be a victim. Like he said, he could have just been.
Not only is it easier, and this is getting into regular guy Friday. It sounded awesome to be a victim.
Oh my God!
Well,
Totally.
everybody, yeah, right, Pooja.
Everyone's like, oh my God, what do you need? How can I help? They're like at your beck and call, especially if you have like loved ones around you. So easy to be a victim.
So easy. Well, and again, when you have your queen friends in social media, they're happy to jump on the bandwagon. You go, girlfriend. Yeah, you go, girl. You got screwed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an RGF. We got to go there.
But but again, now taking it to Better Together, it shows you how seductive being a victim is. I never really broke it down to, I never had anyone verbalize how seductive and alluring it is on the surface to be a victim. And then obviously, but the long-term repercussions is, by the way, like if you make yourself who wants to be an actual victim, right? Like when you think of a victim, right? A victim of a homicide, victim of a this, victim, like, who wants to really be a victim? Like, right? But we don't think of it that way. But according to him, and I agree with him, because your brain is that powerful, you can actually make yourself.
Yes.
It's one thing to appear like a victim and get all the likes and the loves and the this and the that, but eventually, if that's the mindset, you're going to actually manifest yourself to be a true victim.
Yeah.
Like, would you want to be a victim of a homicide? Would you want to be a victim of a crime? Would you want to be a victim of, right?
Right.
No. But it's easy to get there because what he got me to see is how attractive and alluring it is in the short run.
I also liked, and this is another one, so many just crossovers. I love it. Your greatest ideas come from moments of leisure. And I think about when Hannah Stockey was telling us Skrillex. I mean, like literally all of our guests have said this, but Skrillex, the freaking massive DJ, is like, nope. Yeah. From boredom came my greatest.
That one down. Yeah. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
it's
we
true.
all think, I thought being Steve McGarrett from the original Hawaii Five-0, 7 days a week. Be at it, work at it. Or see Larry Bird, work at it, he just never stopped. And then, he had a short career and his body broke down because he probably, he didn't know how to. But yeah, you get those major breakthroughs.
Yeah.
Right. Even like when they said
From
like
stopping.
your best ideas come in the shower, I've always heard that. Like, but I never thought about why, you know what I mean? And then yesterday, Gabby said the same exact thing as he said today. And it's the times when it's almost mindless, right? Like you're just not thinking about anything. You're just there, you're present. And that's when your best ideas come. I think that's refreshing to hear for a lot of people.
Well, for the overachievers who think they can't stop and they're not working hard enough,
who get stressed with stopping,
and they triple down, they work harder. It's like no. Yeah. I know from Maria, every time poor Maria would beg, she'd say, Kevin, please, like, because we'd be out like the few times we'd go away or we'd be on walks, she'd be like, this is what actually we need to do in this situation, or this is what I need to do. And I'm like, wait, oh my God, that's brilliant. And she's like, I'm telling you, I just need time away to have these breakthroughs,
Yeah.
And I was, of course, probably the 20th century mentality, like, all right, you do that, but I don't need that. I'm going to keep going. But it's true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And that's one thing, even with myself, because I haven't stopped this pandemic. I was trying to save the company. Then I was renovating all the houses, and then having to get everyone delivered safely to their next without the company. And then it was helping Lisa, and now it's doing this show. Yeah. Maria keeps saying, Kevin, you just need to have some time, for yourself. And Kelsey says it too. And then you'll figure things out. But I also liked his program.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Even what he does, 45 minutes of movement, 15 minutes of meditation / visualization. Yeah. And he writes his intentions every morning, and he drinks a gallon of water.
The notorious 5.
Those are his non-negotiables.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea too around that. Like, how do we build confidence and self-worth? It's those small victories, right? And celebrating those small victories. Okay, I got up at 7. Hell yeah. Yeah. You go, girl. Yeah. Like, seriously.
Listen, I'm at my best, Pooja, just so you know, like when I would even write down a little notebook, I don't know, pay bills.
Yeah.
Get the car washed. I mean, just like menial tasks, but you know what? You go, okay, did it. Yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
I was just going to say, in college, like I had like a notebook and it's like finish essay, like read chapter, and I would even if I've already done it, I'd cross it out, and you feel like you did something. You're like, oh, like you feel productive. And he's right. Like we like to feel like we're progressing, and it motivates you to keep doing like the rest of your work.
Totally. No, I have a little to-do list every day, and I'm always like, yeah, bitch, yeah, ooh, even if it's talk to Winnie for 10 minutes. Yes, nailed that.
Wow.
Talk to Vincenzo.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was wonderful. I hope you guys loved him. I know you will.
We had a great talk afterwards, and
Kev's new bestie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's more to be done for him.
Yeah.
And So, and I think and he even talked about, which again we hear from everyone else, is when you go and you serve other people. Yes. He had something, but he had something a little bit more poignant.
It was another.
That he said about it.
Hold on, let me find. The suffering stops when we serve something greater than ourselves.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
There you go. I'm actually even today, because I think because I'm coming out of what, probably starting to mourn for our losses here and just overall because everything's slowing down a little bit. So then that's the worst. Sometimes you push, and then you go, oh my goodness, and you get hit and you start to go down a little bit. And then what pepped me up a little bit is that there's some people locally here that need my help. I'm like, no, I'm going over there just gonna help. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go do some work on their house, and I know that'll make me feel better. Like when you can go and serve others. Yeah. So anyway, okay, you guys, I think this was someday we should rank the episodes that give us the most lessons, but this has got to be up there.
Definitely.
This has got to be up there.
It's hard because everyone takes lessons in different ways, right? It's like
everyone. I think everyone hears it at different times. Yeah. You have to hear it the right time in your life.
So this may hit for most people, but a couple people might have liked, whomever. So it's hard. It's hard to rank, but I definitely think that. I mean, he's just such an inspiring person.
Yeah.
Such an inspiring person. Vincenzo agrees.
Yep, she does.
Thank you, Vincenzo.
Okay, so if Vincenzo could tell you our outline, she would, but she can't right now. She just rather smile like she is. So, Kelsey.
Oh, am I wrapping it up?
I think so.
Okay, you guys. So, remember to be nice people, make good choices. My earbud's falling out. And be present.
Yep. And let Winnie give you kisses.
Yay. We love you guys.